Juri, I cannot believe you're turning 50. It's me, Jacob. I look like an old man. I know you still look very good because I see pictures on the internet and your kids are growing up. It's pretty amazing. I can't believe you're 50. Here's one of my kids. That's the littlest one. Oh, she's running away. Happy birthday. I wish I could be there. I couldn't, but I did prepare a little surprise for you, and we're going to start that little surprise right now. Okay, Bill Lawson, the legend. How are you?
I'm great, my friend. It's so great to see you. And I'll just start by saying, happy birthday, Juri. And I'm not going to tell any stories.
He's 50. How is this guy 50 years old?
Well, I'm only 51.
That's what I thought.
That's crazy. I cannot believe, Jake, that you're 50 freaking years old, my man.
Juri's an animal, too. He looks so good. I was telling you earlier, he looks so good, the pictures I've seen of him. So that's pretty fun. Okay, so I have a question for you. How did you come to get the Slovenian sensation at the University of Northern Iowa? How did you get Juri to UNI?
Well, first of all, if we didn't get Juri, we wouldn't have gotten you. Okay,
that's 100% true.
Number one. But here's what happened. We just got burned maybe a year or two before that on a Nigerian 400, 800 guy, Lawrence Ane. And Buck was punch drunk. He goes, Law, no more foreign athletes. I get a phone call from Napier up in Wisconsin because, Law, I got a guy. He's from Slovenia. He's jumped 5'10", potentially decathlete. He's a pretty good athlete. He goes, he's slow as dirt, but he's got great technique in the pole vault. I go, how high is he jump? He goes, 5'10". I go, is that 5'10" for real or is that 5'10" Napier talk?
Yeah, good point.
He can jump 5'10". He can jump 5'20" his freshman year. And so bottom line is we got in contact with him. Next thing we know, we bring him in at mid-year. I pick him up late at night at the Cedar Rapids Airport, freezing cold, middle of the winter. Buck was too, because he goes, Law, I don't even want to go. I'm too, I can't take it.
It's too scared.
I pick up Juri. I bring him back. I think I'm picking up a chick. He's got long hair. Fabio, from Slovenia, he looks like he just walked out of GQ magazine. And there's no cell phones.
Oh, my
so I get to the PEC, and Juri goes, Coach, I'd like to do a workout. He's been traveling for 18 hours. He wants to do a workout. So I take him up into the PEC. I call Buck on a payphone. Law, I got our guy. He's here working out. He goes, how does he look? I go, he's slow as dirt, man. He was doing some strides. He wanted to do pull carries or something crazy.
Oh, my gosh. He was crazy like that.
The Bartlett Hall that night, and really it's ironic that I'm now, after retiring from D1, I'm down at IMG Academy working with Mark Napier.
Isn't that funny?
And he's the one that had called me from Wisconsin, saying, hey, I got a guy, we got no money for him. So obviously we invested in him, and it was a great investment.
That's awesome. That's a good story. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. Juri, 50 years old. So good to see you. You look great. I'm glad you. I hope the new job with Napes goes well down there. And
it's awesome. It's a great retirement job working with very high-end boarding school athletes from all over the world. Juri, to appreciate that. We have about 11 different countries represented on our track team.
Wow.
I think 7 countries at the boarding school altogether. It's like Disney down here.
That's cool.
It's very awesome. And we're opening up at Virginia Beach. And let's go UNI Panthers.
Love it.
And happy birthday, Juri.
Okay, thanks, Law. That's awesome.
Family and the kids and all that good stuff.
I appreciate it.
Take care, buddy.
Same to you. Good to see you.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Here we go. Okay, a blast from the past, Mr. Ben Mishke. Unbelievable. You still look seriously like you're 21 years old. The last time I saw you, you look incredible. Congrats on that.
Well, thank you. I definitely don't feel like it at times, but sometimes you get on that wagon, you work out, and you're like, yeah, I'm not 25 anymore, and you got to take it slow.
Yeah, I like that. You know who's not taking it slow is Mr. Juri, who is now 50 years old, which I can't even fathom. That's unreal, right?
Yeah, that's crazy. Tell you what, we're all getting there pretty soon.
Yeah, I know. We're right there, too. And like I was telling Law earlier, Juri still looks incredible. He looks like a kid still in all the pictures I've seen of him. So that's fun. Okay. Can you think of a fun story or a way that Juri has impacted you at some point during your college career? Because you spent more time with him than I did.
Yeah. So first off, Yuri, happy birthday, man. It's been, I think about you all the time and think about the times that we've had, you and I, and those are memorable times for me. I'm very fond. I have fond memories of you and I have very fond memories of you and all the things we've been through together. But one of the funny stories that I think is pretty funny, and Yuri might remember, and I hope he does. But so we're on a travel trip somewhere in a bus, and we're all jammed in there like you always are. And some people are listening to music, the radio is blaring, and Yuri was and maybe he still is, I don't know, was a fan of like early 1990s country music, which I thought was amazing. Coming from Wyoming, I loved country music and I listened to it all the time. So I knew all the songs, and we were listening to a country radio station, and there was a song that came on, and I had to look it up today because I didn't know who it was, but it was a gentleman by the name of John Barry, I believe is his name, and he's a country music singer back in the day. And the name of the song was "She's Taking a Shine." And Yuri he was always wanting to know how to speak English better.
Yes, I remember that.
So he was always asking these, intuitive questions and always wanting to learn. And I thought that was cool from Yuri. So he didn't know what taking a shine meant, and he was trying to listen to the music, and it caught me off guard at first on when he asked me, hey Ben, what's taking a shine? What's shine? He didn't know what shine was. And I'm like, I said, it's taking a liking, she's taking a liking to him in this song, and I wasn't much of a listener to words, but I knew the song. It was a very popular song back in the 90s. And so I probably said something like, hey, whatever you do, don't use this line on a girl. And, but here's the funny part about it is that he could have used the line on the girl, and they would have thought it was just adorable. But if I would have used that line on a girl, they would have been like, "Get away from me, creep!" So Yuri could pull off anything,
man,
anything he wanted, and I was always jealous of that. But that was the reason why I was always like, I'm cool too because I know who he is, and so that was always really cool for me.
Oh my gosh.
So Yuri, you look that song up. You might not remember it, but I hope you do. And just Google it and see if that brings back any memories.
That is funny.
And then how he impacted my life. When I came to University of Northern Iowa, I didn't know a soul there. My brother was at the University of Minnesota. I knew he was close. I didn't know what the collegiate world meant for me at the time. I knew, I briefly had some conversations with Law and Buck, and then Suk, he took me out for my visit, and so that's the only people I knew. But they were really talking up, Buck and Law were really talking up this Yuri character, I'd seen some pictures of him, and pretty flamboyant, of course, in some of the pictures that they showed me, and I was intimidated. And I don't think I've ever told Yuri this, but I was intimidated by him. So when I first saw him, I was in the Unidome, and he comes strutting in with his long hair, and and walking around like he does, and I'm like, oh great, there he is. And I was like nervous to talk to him. I was like probably like a lot of girls that went up to him and talked to him, but he was super real. Right away it was. I was part of his group,
yeah.
and that made me feel so comfortable about being somewhere so foreign to me, knowing that he went through that probably a year ago or 2 years ago, whenever he showed up before I did. So our worlds collided, and then you just meshed with them.
Yeah.
And then it was from there. It was you look forward to all the workouts together. Yeah. You look forward to seeing how he did in competitions and how far he could go, and and just kind of the normal banter that you would have back and forth, like college kids should. Yeah. And so that I was really grateful for.
Wow, that's really cool. That is really cool, and I totally agree with everything you said. Like, he was a warm, welcoming. He still is. He's not dead. Warm, but
yeah.
For being a college kid, very warm and welcoming, and really a loyal person. And I totally agree with that. That's really awesome. So
yeah,
cool.
Yeah,
very cool. I'm gonna. What do you want to just tell him happy birthday so I can use that in the video at some point?
Yep. Hey, Yuri, happy birthday, 50. It's just a number, man. We're all coming up on it. And here's to a bunch more. So thanks, Jake.
Yeah, we're good. Okay. Wow. Tim Sukon. Unbelievable. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, man. Hey, I just want to say happy birthday, Yuri. Welcome to the 50 Club. It's not as enjoyable as you may have thought it would be, but welcome aboard, man. And that's awesome. I love that we get to say hi to you and happy birthday.
Pretty awesome. Okay, do you have any fond memories, funny stories, or any way that Yuri has impacted you all those years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one that kind of comes to my mind when you first sent out the message to the group was down in Alabama on our spring break trip. Yuri was a rookie, a pup, but I felt like he just kind of walked around and had that vibe and that confidence. And I think the kind of fun story or something that was kind of entertaining for me, I don't think any of us really lacked confidence as we were walking around. But Yuri, man, when we were just walking on campus, like literally between like workouts or maybe after eating or something like that, and the girls would walk by and he'd be like, "Hey, do you know this guy?" And he'd point at me, and I'm like, I felt like all of a sudden I was like shy, even though I wasn't. But it was just weird. He caught me off guard. He's like, "Hey, do you know this guy?" And this is Tim, and he's like introducing me to like 7 girls, and I was like, I kind of don't like this. I'm uncomfortable, but then I loved it at the same time. So I thought that was kind of a funny story that I remember from him. And there's probably a lot of other ones we can't really get into right now, but no, that was one of the ones that really kind of made me kind of smile when I was thinking back on that. So Yuri, thanks for that. And then I think like as a group, like we were really good at track and field, like from, like all of our events, we had some big sticks and all those events. And I think that, like, Yuri coming in and being this, foreign dude that was, like, kind of a different guy with the big Fabio hair and stuff like that. I think, like I said, that kind of, that confidence or that swagger and stuff like that, I felt like that was just a good thing for the team overall. So we appreciate that, Yuri. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's really cool. I'm living in your shoes when he is so bold that he's making you blush. When you're a bold person yourself, and here's a guy that comes along. I totally remember being in that same boat. That's really funny. So
yeah, pure entertainment, man. It was fun. He had a good he was a good addition to the squad, I guess, and he fit right in. So
yeah.
So thanks, Yuri.
Have you seen any pictures of him lately?
No, man, I haven't. You gotta send them.
I will. I follow him on Instagram, and then I think it was his kids too, and his kids are growing up. His son, I think, signed somewhere in the United States to come and pole vault. He's a 5'10" pole vaulter, and looks a lot like his dad. But Yuri looks like a little kid still. It's just crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
No, that's pretty cool, dude. I think the fact that like back with Brad Miller and Ross Hawker and then Bob and the characters that they were, and then having Yuri join the mix, and then you, and then Ben, like he was more like maybe toned down a little bit, but still kind of fun. It's just kind of a fun group overall. And
Here we go. Oh my gosh, we got Travis Geffert, newly donned in light purple at Kansas State, king of the castle. Thanks for doing this.
Dude, this is awesome, man. This is awesome. Awesome that you're doing this, Jake, for Yuri. Heck of a guy. The fact that he's 50 years old is insane to me.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. I was just talking to Kate Bucknam. I'm like, you remember Yuri? She's like, yeah, Yuri. And she's like, he's 50? I'm like, he's 50, yo. So, happy birthday, Yuri. You're 50. Congratulations.
It's we're creeping up on there too, huh? It's kind of scary.
Yeah, we got a little time.
Okay, let's not talk about it. Okay, fun story or a way that you learned something from Yuri or you were inspired by Yuri during our short time with him, which is 1 or 2 years,
Oh, dude, I I don't know if I can limit it to one or two, but learn from Yuri. I mean, the dude was an icon. Remember, Jake? We walked into Northern Iowa and this for Goldilocks, long hair, amazingly attractive man, leading us everywhere, going. Hey, this guy, introducing us to everybody because he knew everybody.
Yes.
And. Dude, it mentored us awesomely along the way, man. So for me, it took me a good year under his tutelage and you and Bob Edwards to get me to a backflip.
Yes.
So that took a long time.
Yes.
But dude, just the hangouts and to have, he was a senior, I think, when we walked in the door, Jake.
Yeah.
And Yuri, you're just a great guy to us, man. You're a great guy, and just appreciate everything that you did for us in the mentorship and the friendship, and it's fun to see you doing what you're doing and rocking back home.
That's it. Yeah. The funny thing when you see this video is everyone has the same story about Yuri. Like, super welcoming and friendly, unbelievably good looking, the long hair. They're all. You wait till you see all these. Everybody says the same thing, and it's so funny. Like, this guy was.
That's awesome.
Yeah. This is amazing. So that's cool. Okay. So were you shocked when we were freshmen? Like, one of the stories they tell is when they picked him up from the airport and he demanded to go to the PEC and do pole runs after a 20-hour travel day.
Yeah.
That, and I had forgotten that, but I'm also not in the least bit shocked by it. He used to make me work so freaking hard. I used to go visit my girlfriend on the weekends in Illinois, and when I get back at 11 p.m., he'd be like, all right, let's go to the East Gym and do gymnastics. I'm like, oh my gosh. And
Oh, dude, the East Gym. We would get buried up there. That's right. Wow.
And he would make us work, and I learned a lot from him, and I knew you did too. So I'm glad you did this, and we were able to get this on video. So appreciate it.
This is awesome, man. This is awesome. So do I get to tell more stories now? What do we got to do?
If you got, we'll go long form here. You can tell a story about him or whatever you want to do now.
All right, so we got to talk about a couple stories. The stuff that I learned from you, I learned how to do a backflip. I learned how to make a toga look cool. I remember we're at a hotel at some track meet, and all of a sudden you walk out in a toga. I'm like, what is happening? So, all kinds of stuff, man. I kind of learned how to throw the javelin, although it wasn't your primary event. So one story, we have a conference meet at home. And Yuri, you forgot your javelin spikes. And you and I were both throwing a javelin. I did not forget my javelin spikes. And Coach Law says, Geffy, give Yuri your shoes. And I'm like, okay, all right. And then you proceed to be all conference in the javelin, which was awesome. But you're a team player and an awesome dude, man. And just happy for you. Keep rocking and rolling, brother.
That's awesome. I forgot until just recently that he threw the jab. He threw like over 200 feet or something, right?
Yeah, he just walked out and did it. Yeah, it was insane. Dude was a star, man.
Yeah, he was an athlete. That is awesome. Okay.
Yeah, hey, Juri, Rovan, I can't believe you're 50 years old. That makes me feel older than I am.
Yeah, that's what everybody's been saying. It's pretty pretty shocking.
It is. That means, like, it puts it in perspective that I was only 5 years older than him when I was coaching.
Yeah.
And it didn't really, that the age difference back then didn't matter.
Yeah.
So now to only think he's 5 years younger than me is crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so I've talked to all these people, and one of the most hilarious things has been from Buck and Law independently talking about picking him up from the airport in that first day. And the story goes that they had been burned on a foreign athlete in the months prior. And so Law got this
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. Law got this opportunity from NAPES.
Yep.
At Wisconsin to get this kid. They got him. Law goes to pick him up at the airport in Cedar Rapids, and Buck is like, I can't even go. I can't. I don't want to. I'm just. He's too nervous. He's too scared.
He's afraid of what he's getting.
So Law goes, and I think they're talking on a payphone or something at the airport or something like that. And he's like, how are you going to know when to get him? And Law, I don't know how they did this, but they had a picture of his passport or something, and he's got this long, crazy hair. And they're like, I'm pretty sure I'll be able to figure out who he is. So he comes off the airport, and obviously there he is. They drive back to Cedar Falls, and Juri immediately wants to go to the PEC and do pole runs at night. I think at midnight. I think it's midnight.
No, I think you're right. I think it was. It was something's crazy.
So this is your first indication that we got a crazy person on our hands. So he's been traveling for 20 hours. Both these guys vouched for this. He's been traveling for 20 hours. He immediately demands to go upstairs of the WRC or the PEC or whatever and do pole runs. It's 12:30 in the morning, at night, and Law calls Buck from a payphone, and he goes, and Buck's like, "Tell me everything." And I go, and he's like, "Well, we're up in the PEC doing a workout right now." And he's like, "What?" And he goes, "How's he look?" And Law's like, "He's pretty slow." And they both just they both just laughed about that. But okay, so you coached Juri for 4 years.
Yep.
And tell me your first interaction with him. You showing up to the track for the first time. Do you remember?
I don't. Here's a couple of things that stand out dramatically. So it could be like we're probably a year or two in, or maybe even in his first year, and I go down to the track, and this could be like maybe a week or two before conference, okay? And you get down there like 3:30, and Juri's down there, and he's head to toe sweating. He's already way into his workout. And I go, "Juri, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm doing 800s. I go, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm doing 12 800s.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, "Okay." I go, "What for?" And he says something like, endurance. And I go, "Juri, we can do like 150s. That'll do a little speed endurance." No. And so, you know how Juri is. Sure enough, he finished 12 800s.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
then he's like, "All right, let's go pole vault." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, can you walk?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so we went and did it, and that's Juri to a T. He worked out like a maniac all the time, heavy lifting at odd times. A couple days before a big meet, he'd lift heavy, he'd run endurance. Well, it was crazy. It all worked for him. He made it work.
Unbelievable. Me and Travis were sort of reflecting on how hard he worked and how hard he made us work. He sort of raised the standard for the workload that you would do.
Yeah.
You remember I had a girlfriend in Illinois my freshman year, and I would drive home for the weekends, and I'd be coming back, 11 p.m. on a Sunday night.
Yeah, in your first semester.
Yeah, and he'd make me go to the East Gym and do gymnastics at like midnight. And I was like, "Juri, please, no." And he goes, "Do you want to get better? If you don't want to be better, that's fine. You don't have to come." And I was like, oh my gosh. So me and Travis would bundle up and go and, train in the East Gym with Juri. Unbelievable.
Yep.
Okay, so you have a pretty interesting story about Juri and the pool.
I do. So this was pretty early on in his career as well. So we just, like 5 or 6 of us, decided to meet at the pool to do a workout, whatever it was. I don't remember. It didn't matter. And so we're kind of all in the pool area, and Juri was a little late for whatever reason. He always seemed to be a little late. And he walked in a Speedo, which I understand is normal for him, but it was not for us. So we got a little kick out of it. I remember him actually kind of being a little pissed about it, but it was still pretty fun.
He just the craziest. Every time you're never like, everything was shocking always with him. I was always shocked whether he was
Nothing was. If you ever expected A, it was always C or D.
That's exactly him. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I was talking to Buck about how my when I was in high school, I went to the NCAA meet in Indianapolis to watch.
Oh, sure, the indoor meet.
No, outdoor. It's when
okay.
I'm senior. It's when Juri's a junior, Woody is a senior.
Okay.
Were you at that NCAA meet? Because I had already signed with you and I.
Oh, I had to have been.
You had to. What I can't figure out is how I didn't meet you there. But I guess that doesn't matter. Anyway, so the pretty remarkable thing about that is that Woody won and Juri got 4th, I think.
Yeah.
And they were, if a few other things had worked out, like such as all-in the triple jump.
Oh, jeez.
Talking about a freak.
There's a name. There's a name. Talk about freak.
Yeah. If a couple of those things had worked out, you're talking about you and I being in the top 5 in the country because of, Juri and Woody and potentially. But anyway, they were top 18 or 15 or something crazy. Anyway, but.
Yeah, I think it was top 20. I think you're right.
Yeah. So, incredible. Anyway, that was one of the things that got me fired up to be there, and that's about it. So anyway, Yuri's 50. His kids are grown. His boy is like a 5'10" pole vaulter, and he's coming to the United States to a school. I can't remember where he signed, but he is coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like his
Cool.
dad.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
I think that's pretty cool. So, okay, very special treat. The one and only Chris Bucknam. How we doing?
Doing great, Jay.
Good.
What's up?
We just got this special occasion. Thanks for helping out with it.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Juri, I don't know if you've seen any pictures, and I've been saying this to everybody. He looks like a kid still, but he's 50 years old somehow.
But he's a physical freak, man. Always has been, and I have no doubt that he still is. I haven't seen a picture of him lately, but I bet you he looks like $1 million.
He does. He looks good, and his kids are all growing up, and it's cool. So
awesome.
Okay, tell me. Go ahead.
It's his birthday, right?
Yeah. 50 years old.
Fudge. Juri, I'm feeling old.
It makes you feel old.
In fact, Juri, you're gonna see me put my glasses on because I gotta see clearly. So apologize for that.
You look good in glasses. It's fine. Okay, tell me an inspirational or funny story about Juri.
Well, I know there's a lot of great stories. The boys, the teammates will tell those. I'm just going to tell you just how much I appreciated Juri being a Panther, being on our team. He had a bunch of choices to go to different schools, and always feel honored when the superstars, choose Northern Iowa, choose our coaching staff. And for 4 years, I just appreciated Juri so much. He's the consummate competitor, always competing, always giving his best effort. But more importantly, just how he carried himself, Jake. Just his body language, his smile, everything's good. Never asked for anything. I don't even think he asked for a pair of shoes, even though I'm not sure we had any shoes to give him. We were pretty destitute financially at that time, but he and Woody, that magical meet in Indiana when he nearly won a national title. I think he got third, and then Woody put the hammer down and won his national title in the 400 hurdles. Those two guys collaborating together. We had a couple other near misses, but it put us in the top 20 for the first time in our history as far as a track program. And it was a process to get there. A lot of conference championships, a lot of valley battles, but Juri helped us put us on the national scene, which then helped us get other great pole vaulters, yourself, Andrew Plojanic, and some of the others. And we went through a string because of Juri's success and how he progressed and got better. So I always appreciated that about Juri, was his body language, how he carried himself, had a smile on his face, unbelievable teammate, all the things, besides the fact that he was a great athlete. Everybody's giving him shit about how slow he was, but I think he got faster while he was here.
He did,
and that was because of his hard work and his pursuit to be the best he could be. Mm-hmm. So I love Juri for that. He really catapulted our program. Plays the way for you, Jay, to go to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go to the last level, really.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I was telling you before I hit record, that when I was in high school and I received the Northern Iowa Media Guide, and I didn't know who Northern Iowa was, and there was this
Jake, we were a couple 100 miles away.
And I lived in Peoria, where Bradley University is. Still had no idea. And I thought, man, who's this good-looking girl on the front of this cover? And I looked a little closer. It was Juri. But Juri is the number one reason, and then you and Law would be number 2. But the fact that Juri was so accomplished was the number 1 reason that I came here, and now I still live here, and it's just would have set the ball in motion or whatever. So.
It's all about collaboration with other coaches. We had a great relationship with Wisconsin, and the coaches, and to their credit, and ours, are always trying to find some place, for their athletes if either they can't take them or the event didn't match up. Knowing Wisconsin, they probably wanted Juri to be a decathlete.
Yeah.
He wanted a vault. I mean, we jumped. That's how we, as a smaller D1 school, would get you guys. I think the same situation with you, Jake. They wanted you to be a decathlete. You kind of didn't want to go through that, and it was a tribute to Law. And I think up to me as far as, hey, you know what? We're just going to get the best athletes we can. They can do whatever they want, and we know we're going to be successful. I do know this. I will tell you this. Law was going to pick them up, I think, in Cedar Rapids.
This is exactly it. This okay, hold on. Time out.
But I told Law, how you gonna send me a freaking picture of this guy? Like, there was no internet. There was nothing. It was all word of mouth and some crazy results. So Law sends me a picture of his passport, and I look at it and I go, holy shit. I go, you got to be kidding me. This guy, like, he had hair down below his shoulders and the whole bit. So he, you can ask me questions after that, but I can remember right before he left, I go, hey, how are you going to pick this guy out of the lineup when he gets off the plane? And he sent me his passport picture, and I said, okay, man, it's fucking on, dude. This guy looks like he can jump out of the gym. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay, so this is funny.
He was Tom Brady handsome, right? It was like
no, I remember.
I was attracted to him.
Okay, so Law tells the same story from his perspective. He says you guys had been burned on a foreign athlete recently, and you were really nervous about the whole transaction. And so Law went. You wouldn't go. You're nervous. And then Law picks him up, and Juri does what? And I'm just checking to make sure Law is telling the truth. Law picks him up, and they drive to UNI, and then Juri does what?
They go right to the freaking gym. I think they go to the PEC or something, right? Exactly. And there were no cell phones or anything, right? There's nothing. So he maybe. I didn't even know whether he made the flight in or not. Next thing I know, I'm getting a call from Law, and it's like 12:30 in the morning, and he's like, I go, Law, what's up? Did he not make it, or what's the deal? I go, yeah, he made it. We're in the PEC. He wanted to jump. He wanted to do pole carries. I go, holy shit. I go, all right, scale of 1 to 10, man. Tell me what we got. And he goes, he's pretty slow. I go, what do you mean he's slow? And I go, he goes, he'll be great, but he'll be great. But it was like those guys went right to he went.
It's exactly.
Like, I don't know.
Exactly.
The guy flew 20 hours to get here.
It's exactly what Law said. I'm telling you, I have this video.
It's fried in my braing.
It's exactly what Law said. But he called you from a payphone in the PEC is the craziest part.
Okay, dude. There was no thing. And then, I met him the next day and everything, and it was like, this is physical appearance.
Yeah, just crazy.
The hair and the whole bit, it was a blast. It was a magical time.
Oh my gosh. That is so funny, man. I love it.
Law. You know how Law is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot until last night when I was interviewing him, and I remembered immediately how Law is because he has not changed one bit. He's exactly the same guy.
And then after that, it was phenomenal. It was, made our team better, made our program better, and helped our recruiting. Obviously, helped getting you the best pole vaulter we've ever had, and. That's how it works, and it's passing down that legacy. So it was a wild time. It was a wild time when, it was probably 40 below outside.
Oh, he came at the semester.
Yeah. Yep. So.
That's great.
And it was great. So. Yuri,
awesome.
miss you, man. I wish, appreciate all you've done for us, and just so grateful that I was part of it.
That's awesome. That's perfect. Okay,